Okay. Now, I know I'm a little late because other channels have already talked about this, but I need to give my thoughts on this because um here's the thing. If this is true, then the Rise of Skywalker could be a mess. Or well, not a mess. It's this will be the lamest ending to a Star Wars trilogy or possibly any trilogy. Like, if this is how it ends, this is gonna be so lame. It's going to be lame. But anyway, let's get into this article now. I do have to warn you. Obviously, this is again this might contain spoilers for Episode 9, Star Wars Episode 9: The Rise of Skywalker. So if you don't want spoilers, please click off the video. Okay? Or if you're like me and you stopped caring after the Last Jedi, then anyway, please keep watching. Thank you so much for watching. But before we get into the video, I have to remind you, please subscribe and please hit that like button. Please share this video with anyone who's interested in this topic that we're about to discuss in this video, or at least or the information we're about to see here. Um, it's really going to help the channel. I really want this channel to grow, and I can't do that without your guys' help. So please consider subscribing. But anyway, with that being said, let's get into this. And oh boy, now I did read through some of it, and let me tell you, it's not good. It's not good. I mean, this is so lame. But anyway, let's get into this. So okay, this is coming to us from someone who supposedly has seen like footage of the actual movie. Someone who apparently works over at Lucasfilm. So, but again, there is a chance that none of this could be happening, and none of this would be in the last movie. Although, considering what I've read and considering the that sizzle reel that we saw, and considering the trailer that we got at a Star Wars Celebration earlier this year, I have to admit it is possible that what we're about to read here could be in the movie. So again, warning if you don't want any spoilers. With that being said, let's get into this. As stated in a previous leak, it's been reiterated to me that we will indeed be getting young Luke and Leia flashbacks in The Rise of Skywalker. Okay. That already. So and one in particular appears to be the opening of the movie. So you're telling me that Star Wars is going to open with a flashback. It's going to open with a flashback. And it's going to show us Luke and Leia apparently training, where apparently Luke's teaching Leia how to fight with a lightsaber. And okay, here's the thing. We all know that the only reason they're even having this in the movie is because a lot of people have pointed out the obvious flaw, or one of the obvious flaws in The Last Jedi, which is somehow that Leia survived in the vacuum of space and somehow using the Force to pull herself to you know the ship, which again makes absolutely no goddamn sense because people kept asking, well, wait, when, how? I mean, when did she become good enough to use the Force? Especially, like, how did she learn to use the Force to keep herself alive in space? That's the only reason they're even adding this, because people pointed that out, and now stupid Abrams is adding this into the Rise of Skywalker to try and shut those people up instead of just, you know, which again, more problems caused by Ryan Johnson. So thank you. Anyway, let's continue. Um, When Patel appears in the opening of the movie, we begin the action by seeing one of, if not the final training lesson between Luke and Leia. Leia is giving up her Jedi training due to the fact that she's pregnant with a son. My source on this mentioned a fight, so I believe that we may be getting Leia and Luke in a lightsaber duel towards the beginning of the film. And I don't feel good about that. Considering that this is Disney Skywalker, I feel like I already can picture the fight in my head, and I'm not liking it. Picking up in the current point in the timeline, Leia appears to have taken out the mantle of Jedi Mentor to Rey in the wake of Luke's passing because, of course, she did. Of course, she did. Who? Of course, she did. We had to get the man out of there. We had to get the woman in there. Fuck you, Lucasfilm. Note this will likely coincide with this scene from D23 first look where Rey throws her lightsaber at a training remote and cuts down a tree. Oh boy. Let's continue. Early on in the film, we catch up with Kylo's story where he's slaughtering people with the purpose of tracking down one of the film's MacGuffins, a device known as the Wayfinder, which, by the way, is a stupid fucking name. That sounds like something that belongs in another franchise, not Star Wars. I'm told that the clip of Kylo body slamming someone in the floor of a forest bathed in red light seen in the teaser. I'm also told that this planet is called Exegol. Don't quote me on the spelling. Because anyway, let's continue. I don't care about Kylo Ren at this point. They killed him in the Last Jedi, or even in the Force Awakens. Kylo obtains the Wayfinder from the Oracle and finds it to contain coordinates to a point in the unknown regions. The Wayfinder that Kylo's given once belonged to his grandfather, and wait for that, just so Anakin had the Wayfinder. Really? Because I saw the prequels, I even saw the Clone Wars. Never once mentioned something called the Wayfinder. I doubt they're even going to mention it in the upcoming seventh season of the Clone Wars. Because it's stupid. Because it makes no goddamn sense. Oh boy. So, using the coordinates found within the Wayfinder's device, Kylo arrives in the unknown regions. Here, Kylo encounters Emperor Palpatine. How Palpatine is still alive and how he ended up in the unknown regions is still a mystery to me. Yeah, I don't think even JJ knows how Palpatine fucking survived. Being thrown down an energy shaft and being blown to bits. Oh, yeah. It's still a mystery to me. I hope to learn more about it in the next few months. No, Daisy Ridley recently said in an interview that it is explained in the film, which is going to be a stupid fucking explanation and still not going to make any fucking sense. But my source on this tells me that this is indeed Palpatine in the flesh. Again, oh boy. Kylo and Palpatine's conversation apparently centers around ordering Kylo to find Rey and bring her to the Emperor with the goal of turning her to the dark side. So, and they, oh god, they even said it's not lost on me that this part of the story feels very Return of the Jedi inspired. Yeah, you think? Of course it is. Because nobody at Lucasfilm now knows how to write a fucking story. They have to steal from the original trilogy, even though they kept telling us, let the past die, kill it if you have to. Fuck off. Anyway, let's continue. My source specifically mentioned that Palpatine is very old and decrepit. Wasn't he always? At this point, possibly on the verge of death. A little bit of Googling reveals that Palpatine is thought to have been born around 84 BBY, making him in the neighborhood of 113 years old by the events of the Rise of Skywalker. His goal in luring Kylo to him and converting Rey to the darkness is more or less to have Rey and Kylo inherit his new empire and for them to rule together. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, I did not just read this. I did not just read this. Please tell me I didn't just read this. Oh, oh my god, that's so bad. So, they actually have a character in canon who ships Raylo. You, again, you know what? Why not? Why the fuck not? Because, of course there is. Which, by the way, I just want to point out something. It says here that Palpatine is thought to have been born around 84 BBY, making him in the neighborhood of 113 years old. So let me ask you something. How come Palpatine, who's 113 years old, at least according to them, is very old and decrepit, but Yoda, who was, excuse me, Yoda, who was way older, and yet somehow still a badass. I'm guessing by if you remember in the prequels, I'm guessing Yoda was still a lot older, and yet he was still a badass. So why is Palpatine, who's 113 years old, like he can barely do anything? Yeah. Anyway, again, who cares? Who cares at this point? In order to facilitate bringing about this new empire, oh Jesus, Palpatine has spent his 30 years of PTO creating a fleet of Death Star destroyers. Note, I don't know if this is their actual name or not, personally, I hope not. It's a bit on the nose. Yeah, it's stupid. It's fucking stupid. That's what it is. Which appear to be exactly what they sound like, Star destroyers with Death Star tech mounted on them, giving them the capability to destroy a planet. Oh Jesus. So it's you're telling me we have more devices that destroy a planet because the Death Star wasn't enough. Star Killer base wasn't enough. Now now we have multiple ships that have the power to destroy planets. Oh boy, oh god. My head's actually splitting as I'm reading this. Like I can actually feel it snapping in two. Okay, so apparently this particular technology was unleashed 30 some odd years ago that Pandora's box can't be shut again. Oh, fuck off. According to my source, these Star Destroyers make up the Sith fleet that housed the new red Sith troopers that were showcased at SDCC in July. Oh, God. No, nobody cares about that. By the way, I already made a video talking about those, so go check it out if you want to, where I basically gave my thoughts on the stupid period blood troopers. No, I wrote this prior to the first look being shown in the fleet. Fleet has since been confirmed. It's comprised of Imperial Star Destroyers hiding in the unknown regions, and we see what happens to be their planet destroying capabilities during the real. Yeah, I think it's that moment where you see like a beam of red light hitting the planet. I think that's what they're talking about because, of course, enough about Rey and Kylo. Oh god, I wish. Let's get back to the rest of the Resistance. Who cares? Apparently, we catch up with Finn and Poe returning to the jungle planet, depicted in some of the behind-the-scenes images shown at Celebration. The duo has been in contact with an informant from within the First Order. The mole has told Finn and Poe about Kylo coming into possession of the Wayfinder. Note, it's unclear to me if anyone in the Resistance understands what the Wayfinder is or where it leads. They just want to find it. So, again, so there's something they don't know what it is. They don't care what it is, but they all they know is that the First Order wants it, so it can't be good. Yay, fun! Poe and Finn tell Leia about this, and she sends Rey, Chewbacca, C-3PO, and the other droids to accompany them on the mission. In order to get them on their quest, Leia puts them in contact with someone on Pasaana, the desert planet. Of course, because we have to go back to the desert, because you can't come up with anything new on your own. You could have had George Lucas help you, but no, no, you had to keep all your money to yourselves. It's at this point in the story where the Resistance team makes their way to the desert planet seen in the teaser and behind the scenes footage. It's revealed that Leia's contact is Lando Calrissian. Lando points them towards another one of our MacGuffins, a Sith artifact that apparently turns out to be a dagger. This dagger has some sort of writing on it that 3PO can't decipher. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you actually fucking kidding me? A dagger. This this doesn't even sound like Star Wars anymore. I feel like I'm reading D&D fanfic or some sort of Star Wars D&D hybrid fanfic that someone wrote in their underwear at home. God, this is stupid. Which, by the way, if I'm reading all this, how fucking long is this movie? How fucking long is this movie that it's that it has all of this? So it's during our hero's time on Pasana that Kylo initiates a forced mind link between himself and Rey. Oh god! So if just in case anyone forgets what that is, it's when they were doing the finger sex in the Last Jedi. It's when they could connect it. They started doing finger sex. That's the forced mind link. Which, by the way, how the hell did Kylo even figure out how to do that? I don't know. I mean, you could have said once upon a time you could have said that Snoke maybe taught him how to do it, but Snoke's dead, and he didn't even know what the fuck was going on. Oh boy. It's during our hero's time on Pasman that here it is. Crew are leaves and pursues them. Eventually, Kylo and the Knights of Ren arrive and begin to attack our heroes. One thing leads to another, and the Resistance crew gets outnumbered, and they are forced to make their escape on an old ship, leaving the Millennium Falcon behind. Kylo recovers the Millennium Falcon and takes it back to his Star Destroyer. So Kylo gets his dad's car. Cool. Again, who cares? I, I stopped caring about the Falcon a long time ago when they killed Han. So, as previously mentioned, 3PO was confronted with a challenge he is not quite equipped to handle. The artifact found in Pasana contains a language that 3PO can't translate without modifications. In order to modify 3PO's programming, Poe brings the team to the wintry planet seen in the teaser. Kijimi, per the Vanity Fair article. There, C3PO is modified to allow translation of the artifact. I'm told that the modification is done by a small alien, possibly the one pictured in image A of my post from 6 months ago. I'm not 100% sure on that, but confident enough in who told this to me that I'm willing to put it out there. Once translatable, the dagger supposedly reveals information regarding a second Wayfinder. So, again, more with the Wayfinder shit. This one having belonged to Emperor Palpatine himself, leading the team to journey to the forest moon of Endor. Because, again, you all know what that means. I'm not going to get into it. Which, by the way, I'm not going to read all of this. I'm not going to read all of this, otherwise we'd be here forever. Let me just get the cliff notes. Okay. Okay, my sources told me the history of Poe prior to Kara saying the same. Okay, once Kylo arrives, our gangs hero decide to sneak aboard. The Falcon crashes. Two major things happen. It's revealed that Hux is the First Order mole. A lot of people already guessed that. And Kylo's distracted by dueling with Rey in person. So we're gonna get another Luke, Kylo, and Rey lightsaber duel. We all already know how this is gonna happen. Anyway, during this duel, Kylo adds another wrinkle to Rey's backstory. He maintains that while her parents are nobodies, her grandparents, more specifically her grandfather, wasn't. Oh boy. Kylo tells Rey that she's the granddaughter of Palpatine. This thing, this right here, that line we just read. So she's the granddaughter of Palpatine. I remember a time when so many people have had that theory going on for a long time, and everybody just said, no, 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 it's too obvious. It's too obvious. No, no, it's not gonna happen. And yet here we are. Here we are. Here we are. It's just now there's a big chance of this. I know again there is still a chance that none of it's going to be in the movie, but it's highly plausible. It's highly possible. So Rey is a Palpatine because of course she is. So this is interesting bringing that. Okay. Followed her battle aboard the Star Destroyer and escape on the Falcon. Uses the new information resulting from previous modification and the translation of the to okay, who cares? Naturally, they fight again. Who cares? We already know who's winning. The Dark Rainbow is in fact a vision. Again, we all guessed this. Apparently has something that happens right after Rey picks up Palpatine's wife, Wayfinder. Again, who cares? While lying in the wreckage of the Death Star, we can see it reportedly sees a vision of his father. Oh no! So we're getting Force Vision Han. So Han is a Force ghost. Han has apparently mastered the Force during his binge of alcohol while being um, an absentee father. He went ahead and learned how to use the Force. I mean, if you think about it, that does kind of explain why he told Finn that's not how the Force works. So apparently he knows. He knows, yeah, dude, that's not how the Force works. Hey, so okay, again, see, hold on, but this interaction is supposed to act as Carlos come to Jesus moment. I shouldn't be laughing. This is so lame. This is so lame. Oh god, here it is. So it is never too late to change. When he leaves Endor, he leaves not as Kylo Ren, but as Ben Solo. You know, to be honest, I don't mind Kylo Ren having his like sort of redemption moment. I mean, they did do the same thing with Darth Vader, considering like he's the second most evil person in the entire galaxy, and yet Luke still sensed good in him. He still tried to redeem him, but nothing happened. Nothing happened. Cause of course it didn't. Because why would they? Anyway, this duel is a crucial tipping point for Ray. Of course, I'm told that in the wake of a conversation, she takes away from its way to so reportedly to mirror Luke's while it was there prior to and during the events of the Last Jedi. The vision of possible dark future was okay, yeah. Again, I'll leave a link to this if you want to go read it for yourself. I'm not going to read the whole thing because Jesus Christ, it's already too long, and this video is already 22 minutes long. The rain, the same they consider killing Ben, his snake scared look. Okay, and because we consider this was our shit. This one looks like the Jedi is going to end again. The specter of Luke Skywalker appears to Rey holding her disc. How the hell is he holding it? He's a ghost. You know what? It's obvious now that people who are writing this movie don't care. They don't care about the rules. They don't care about the laws of this this universe. They don't care. Ugh. Anyway, let's keep going. I want to end this as soon as possible because again, this video is already too long. I finished the work Luke began over 30 years earlier and put an end to the Emperor for good. So, anyway, afterwards, according to my source, Luke passes on Leia's lightsaber. How? How? No, I don't know where it came from. So, are you telling me even in the movie they have no idea where the fuck that lightsaber came from? Which, by the way, Rey is on Octu. So, how the hell did Leia's lightsaber get there? And why didn't Luke just give it? You know what? Again, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Nothing makes sense anymore. Or how Luke is able to give it to Rey, but what I can tell you with only about 50% confidence that this one is that Leia's blade is supposedly blue. Bolstered by her conversation with Luke, Rey takes Leia's lightsaber, transmits the location of the Sith fleet to the Resistance before heading out herself. On the subject of Force Good, Luke's making another one appearance around the time of Rey and Kylo's crisis. Oh, Jesus. Back at the main Resistance base, Leia is on her deathbed. My source describes it to me like Yoda's death in Return of the Jedi. Anyway, who cares? From what I've been able to put together, the final act of the film is structured like this. Rey leaves Ahch-To and travels to the Sith fleet in the unknown regions. Eventually, the Resistance. Okay. Apparently, after the video, destructive shaking with her. Vader and Luke and Lexington with his bond to Rey, hoping that whatever familiar connection they have will be enough to win her over and become as strong as that of the Skywalkers. I got bad news for you, buddy. I predicted this. I predicted this the second we got that stupid teaser where we saw, Rey holding the, dark Rey, and I predicted that. Yeah, first of all, it was a vision, and that Disney wouldn't have the balls to make her the bad guy at the end. I told you, and according to this, I'm right. And not just me, so many people were right on this. Like, did they really think we were that stupid? Of course they did, because apparently there are some people who saw it and go, Dark Ray, oh my god, is he gonna be a bad guy? Ugh, fuck off. At some point, the Emperor overpowers both of them, supposedly kills Ben. Oh, I wish he would stay dead. No, there have been reports of other reputable leaks that Luke or Kylo kind of sort of dies, but my source on this seemed pretty unambiguous. Personally, I think we'll just have to wait and see what we'll learn over the next few months. Yeah, so what he's talking about here is that earlier we got some leaks saying that Kylo doesn't necessarily die, but Palpatine's ghost sort of takes over, which again, I have no idea how the fuck that even happens. So apparently he takes over Kylo. He tries to fight Rey, but Kylo somehow keeps him suppressed long enough to basically you know to keep him suppressed long enough so that Rey can kill him, and then apparently Luke comes back, uses the Force to bring him back to life. So Luke has officially become Jesus, um, or Luke will have been officially the Jesus of uh, Star Wars, which in a way they did try to make him out to be, but considering what the Last Jedi did, apparently now we're supposed to believe that Rey is the chosen one. Rey is the one who's going to save the world, not Luke Skywalker. A whammon saved the galaxy. A whammon destroyed the Emperor. Oh. Anyway, when it looks like all hope is lost, the ghosts of Luke and Leia show up to aid Rey. They overpower the Emperor and end his dark. Look, all right, no, no. So you're telling me we're gonna see the equivalent of Luke, Leia, and Rey? What are they all gonna use the Force together? Are they all gonna put out their hands and Kamehameha the Emperor to death? God, this is so stupid. As as for what the other members of the Resistance are doing at this point, they are engaged in a space battle against Palpatine's fleet led by General Pride. The Resistance goal is supposedly to take out the flagship, severing communications and making navigation out of the unknown regions impossible. The flagship is destroyed, and around the same time, the Emperor dies. The last thing I was told is regarding the final sequence of the film. I don't know why, but our heroes travel to Tatooine because, of course, they did. During this scene, it is supposedly revealed that Rey has cannibalized Anakin and Luke's lightsaber and Leia's to make one of her own that supposedly has a yellow gold blade because she's the chosen one. She's the woman of the Star Wars universe. So of course she has a gold one. Of course she does. And she buries the leftover pieces on the grounds of the former Lars homestead. The final shots of the Skywalker saga allegedly echo how the adventure began in 77. Our heroes gazing at the horizon, dreaming of the future as twin suns set in the distance. So that's it. That's possibly what's going to happen in episode 9. Now, again, I'm saying possibly because there is again we'll have to wait, but a lot of what is said here does match up with what we see in the trailer. This is this is bad. Like my god, this is bad. But anyway, look, I'm just gonna stop the video right here because this is just making me depressed. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like the video and please subscribe to this channel. It's really gonna help this channel grow. Um, if you want to see more from me, please subscribe and check out my channel. I do have other videos where I talk about topics that interest me. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope I see you guys in the next video. Bye.